it local all morning long.
Thank you for joining us. I'm Lenny Slagan.
And I'm Lee Peck.
So much of what we do has us covering tragedy. I mean, these are the worst that you can imagine in terms of stories, but they're also ones we can't ignore.
Yeah, but as we approach a new year, we're taking a look back at the stories that not only made us smile, but brought us to the best people here along the Gulf Coast.
And so we're going to start with a dream that came true for a Murphy High School athlete.
Yeah, senior Dominique Lofton scored his very first touchdown, and it happened at Murphy's first win of the season.
And after that, he said it was the best moment of his life. Our Lacey Beasley is showing you the video that really a lot of people couldn't stop talking about.
Keep your eyes on number 97. That's running back Dominic Lofton in the end zone for the first time in his life. His team and coaches applauding his every step. The crowd cheering him on as he's praised down the sideline.
Feel great. I like winning this game for a whole team, my whole teammates, for all of them, and I'm ready to do it again.
Dominic says he's loved football since he was 10 years old, inspired by his brother. He's prayed his whole life to score a touchdown, though it took some training. First, he had to make it past coach.
He said that he has what it takes, and I said, well, show me what you got. And he went to the side, he did like a little spin move, jumped like he was gonna catch it, and I said, well, you're my guy. If you're gonna play football, we have practice tomorrow at 4:30.
And Dominic was there. He's been a part of the team ever since. From the locker room
3. 1, 2, 3.
to the coin toss, he's padded up and earned his place on the team, even getting to bring home the game-winning ball.
It was great. And it's kind of fun doing that.
He has a heart of a champion, and the other kids see it, and they rally around it.
And mom and dad, his biggest cheerleaders his whole life.
My wife, she's over there in tears. My heart is just overwhelmed. And you know, oh man.
And as long as he's happy, we're happy. And this brought so much joy to him.
This moment, forever replaying on Dominic's highlight reel.
No, tackle, down. This is the best moment of my life. I'm the best football player there ever was.
So we're gonna do our touchdown celebration on one. You ready? 1, 2, 3.
Very excited there to score that touchdown. It was great to hear all the cheers.
It's always good to see our athletes being recognized on and off the field. And yes, that was one that a lot of people really enjoyed.
A memorable story there. All right. Well, Mardi Gras, always full of surprises, but this past season is one a local family won't soon forget.
Take a look. An epic gender reveal done at the parade. A lot of people seeing purple, green, and gold, as well as a lot of pink.
Yeah, this, of course, was way back in February when the soon-to-be parents, Justin and Bianca Robinson, were in town for Mardi Gras, all the way from Atlanta, and said, why not go ahead with the big gender reveal? Justin's aunt helping them out. She rides with the MLK Monday Mystics Parade.
The beads are throwing, and you know, I'm just excited. I'm jumping up. I'm trying to catch the beads so I can have a keepsake memory.
Like jumped over my head and everything.
For a lot of first-time fathers, they know exactly when that feeling kicks in, because that was the moment that it kicked in. Like, man, like I'm about to be a dad. And it just made me just cherish her and love her that much more. It's like, you're my wife, you're the mother of my child, we're going to raise a little girl together.
And of course, since then, I've remained friends with them on Facebook. I see the updates.
A lot of people do gender reveals. I love that.
They do. And she is River Reese is the little girl's name. And so she's about 3 or 4 months old now.
That's a neat name, River. Yeah. All right, well, staying with Mardi Gras, if you've ever been to any of the parades in Mobile, you know one of the real treats is to see the Excelsior Marching Band.
Yeah, they are legendary here in the Port City. This year, just before all the fun, I went back in time catching up with the oldest living member of the Excelsior Band, and as you can imagine, he had a lot of stories to share.
When it comes to Mardi Gras, the Excelsior Band is the epitome of the sounds of the season here in the Port City.
I played the trombone in the Excelsior Band.
95-year-old Frank Ponquinet comes from a different time. That's him at age 16 playing the trombone. He recalls he was a sickly child before he found music.
When I got that trombone and started playing that trombone, the asthma left, and I haven't been sick since. Yeah, whoever gave me that trombone, they done me a favor.
With deep music roots from his grandfather, who founded the Ponquinet Band, which later merged with the Excelsior Band, a young Frank loved parading in the streets.
When we was marching, we had to still be playing, and they had these guys walking by us with a torch, you know, and so we could read the music. But I didn't have to use one of those torches because I memorized all my music.
He was truly gifted.
I played all the instruments. I played the trombone, the trumpet, clarinet, saxophone.
As a teenager and student at Central High School, he began teaching other students how to play. But his talents were also getting the attention of famous musicians who were traveling through Mobile.
My mother had to register me in school because I was on the real road with Dizzy Gillespie. I played with Miles Davis, Ella Fitzgerald.
That's his old bass violin and piano. And that's him playing just 3 years ago, before arthritis set into his hands. He tells us the piano is his favorite.
You know, you can hear all the instruments on the piano. That's what I liked about it.
After high school, he studied at Chicago's prestigious American Conservatory of Music.
And I played classical music. I was a classical pianist. I played Rachmaninoff's Prelude in C-sharp minor. Played Chopin, you know, all the good stuff.
While he can no longer play, he still enjoys music.
I'd listen to it and try to call the name of the notes that they playing.
And to think it all started with the Excelsior Band, memories he treasures.
That's almost 100 years ago.
And like the Excelsior Band, this musician at heart is still going strong.
I'm making it through. And I'm 95 years old now, the oldest member of the original Excelsior Band.
Just really neat to see that and just really pay attention and recognize the talent we have locally.
Yeah, Mr. Ponquinet also worked as a merchant seaman for over 30 years before retiring in 1985. And we just did a story.
I know they've got a big concert coming up.
140th anniversary there.
A lot of time, and we appreciate them continuing on as well.
Yes.
Well, we're going to continue too with a touching story about a Good Samaritan rescuing a woman from drowning in Orange Beach.
Yeah, the scary incident unfolding Mother's Day weekend at Alabama Point.
Our Ashlyn Mitchell with this story of a young man being in the right place at the right time.
Rachel Callahan had just sat down to relax on the beach at Alabama Point when all of a sudden things went south.
I just looked out at the water and I seen what I thought was a young boy going up and down. I thought I was watching someone die. And, you know, it was scary. And I just jumped up, ran out there and said, somebody, screaming, help him, help him.
In the crowd of folks, a young man jumped into action.
And this little boy ran right past me. He was about 18. He did not hesitate. He got to the person and they went kind of to the side. I guess it was like a current. And he got up to the shore and sat. Now I know it's a lady, maybe in her 40s, or I couldn't tell really, but she just sat there choking. And I believe she got caught in a current and it was just dragging her down.
Callahan says the woman was with 2 young children. And she says on this Mother's Day, she's thankful a family isn't grieving the loss of their mom. For her, this near tragedy hits home.
Well, Mother's Day's hard for myself.
It's okay.
I lost my child when he was 9, and I wouldn't want anybody to grieve and go through that. And I told that boy yesterday, I said, I was visibly shaken. And I told him, I said, you just don't realize what you have done. And he was just so sweet. He just said, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. He was humble about it.
Now, the Orange Beach community is on a quest to find this anonymous hero. Callahan just wants to honor his selflessness.
We hear so much bad about our young people these days. It's just negative. And yesterday showed me there was still good. There's still good people. And his parents should be proud. They have raised a good boy.
That can happen anywhere along the Gulf Coast, and fortunately he was, like we said, in the right place at the right time, made that rescue.
And it's a story they won't soon forget.
No, they won't. All right, when we come back, we're heading back out to the beach, actually, where you never know what will be reeled in.
Especially when it depends on who's got that rod. So we're going to talk about some record breakers along the Gulf Coast this year, so stay with us. We'll be back in just a moment.
Fox 10 News headlines and storm traffic.
Welcome back.
Every year, folks look forward to the Mullet Toss weekend at the Floribama.
Have you done a mullet toss?
I have not. I have 8.5 years here. I've not covered the Mullet Toss.
And I've been here longer, and I've never done the mullet toss.
We're going to have to do it maybe next year.
Perhaps. Who knows? Thousands of people have done it. You know, they hit the sand for this fishy fun in the sun, trying their best to chuck that fish across the state line.
Yeah, our Lacey Beasley and photographer Bryant Geary even getting in on the action this year. Take a look.
It's some high-flying fun at the Floribama all weekend long. The much-anticipated Mullet Toss.
Wonderful and fabulous in every way.
This weather is beautiful.
It's a labor of love for all of us.
First-time throwers waiting in line, maybe not expecting to make the scoreboard, but still hoping for some fun.
I hope I get it past that little circle there.
First time throwing, and my expectation is to beat him.
Not gonna happen.
Lacey's one of our local celebrities.
And for the first time, I stepped up to the plate, picked a fresh, freezing fish, and threw for 28 feet.
There's the toss.
Woo! Good job, Lacey.
And picked up my sandy mullet.
Applause for Lacey from FOX10.
So you just finished with the mullet toss. Any pointers for somebody who's never done it before?
I've heard mixed reactions. I've heard some people say get a fresh fish, crack the back, throw it like a baseball. I had a fresh fish, but it was hard to bend. So I would say grab a floppy fish.
But I couldn't have all the fun. I switched roles with Fox 10 News photographer Bryant Geary.
Yeah, that's good. How do I do it?
It's not a tiger. You don't throw it by the tail.
Hit me with your best shot.
Throwing for 66 feet.
Brian, how do you feel about that?
You know, they feel just as slimy as they always do. And I actually threw it a lot further than I thought I would. So
I'm very impressed with your throw. How would you rate your throw?
10 out of 10 all the way. I think I won.
Some, like Bryant, pleasantly surprised at their throw.
Better than I thought it would be.
It was slimy.
Austin
and it poked me.
While others, not so much.
I want to redo.
It's all smiles Mullet Toss weekend, and whether you enjoy from the ring or sidelines, it leaves people wanting more.
I did not toss. I'm a looker, not a tosser.
Me too. I'm a looker, not a tosser.
Next year,
Maybe.
They had a great time during that story, and they got some help too with those tosses.
A little bit of help, but yeah, it's always a challenge because you never know which fish is going to make. You know, some people say get the ones that are smaller. Some people say get the
bended,
ones.
and
I don't know.
It's Anyhow, it is definitely a unique tradition, unique to the Floribama. All the proceeds, of course, from that weekend benefit local charities.
So we're gonna take the mullet challenge this year. Challenge, key word.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Listen, when you think of the perfect honeymoon, a trip to Maui or Bora Bora, some destinations that might come to mind. But for one adventurous couple from Maryland, it was a night of shark fishing in Navarre.
Yeah, shark fishing. As our Hal Sherrick found out, the evening had just begun when a fish of a lifetime made it a honeymoon they'll never forget.
Right there, sunset, my friend.
It's the sound every angler loves to hear. Dylan Weir and partner Blaine Kenny had just set up with their clients for a night of shark fishing on Navarre Beach when something big took the bait on their Pen 130. Little did they know at the time, the same fish had also eaten another bait further out.
That's it, dude. That's what you wanted right there.
When the second rod, an avid 80 narrow, also began to peel off drag, they thought they'd hooked a second fish.
It was at the bar, just past it, maybe 60 yards away, and it came up and actually threw a bunch of water with her tail. That's a really common sign of tiger sharks. They'll come to the surface and just start throwing water. And when Blaine said, no, that was my fish, and I was like, no, I think that was his. And then Blaine said, well, maybe we've got the same fish.
As the shark came closer to shore, Will and Ashton Weber couldn't believe what was happening. The couple had just exchanged wedding vows Sunday and made the 1,400-mile drive from Maryland in their camper, seeking an adventurous Florida honeymoon. Well, thanks to the guys at Coastal Worldwide, they now had an estimated 800 pounds of adventure at the end of their lines.
It was crazy. She definitely put on a show for us.
When that fish got close enough that I could drop the harness and you know, drop the rod and really get in there with it, man, I was just blown away. I was just I was in shock. I mean, at the size of this fish, it was unbelievable how big this fish really was.
Tiger sharks are a protected species, and it's important to get the fish released quickly and in good health. Because of this, the shark is kept in the water, and no time is taken to measure or pose for many pictures.
You can get really solid pictures when we are handling the hook side. If you're just back there near the tail and you're holding the tail up and someone else is on the beach just snapping pictures, those pictures can come out really good sometimes. But with a shark that big, it's so chaotic, and we're just trying to keep that shark's health in mind, and we're trying to get that thing out as quick as possible.
The pictures did come out good, and the honeymoon memories even better. As a token of the catch, Will and Ashton each got to keep the circle hooks that caught the fish. It's a tradition when you get one over 10 feet. Their honeymoon, their tiger shark, and their love for one another bonded through these pieces of steel.
On our first time ever, we managed to catch it and be able to keep both. So it makes a heart. It's like the perfect little thing.
Talk about a story. I mean, my goodness.
That's one they'll be talking about forever.
I know. Well, from one catch of a lifetime to another, this one is at the 90th annual Alabama Deep Sea Fishing Rodeo.
Always a good time out there, and this monster of a fish drew lots of attention. Brett Rutledge reeling in this giant tiger shark, weighing in at a jaw-dropping 1,019 pounds. We're told it took him about 45 minutes to reel that big boy in.
Normal fishing technique, you know. We went out and caught our bait yesterday. All the crew talked about where we were going and set up on it. And we actually caught 7 sharks this morning, and this just happened to be the biggest.
And I'm sure this is an impressive catch for you.
Yeah, I excited. It's fun. If it does hold, it would be a new state record, so that'd be pretty cool.
According to Southeastern Outdoors, it beat the state record for a tiger shark. This is a record that's been in place for 30 years at 988 pounds.
So it actually beat it by quite a lot.
A lot, and 45 minutes it took to get it in?
Yeah, and you saw they raised it up there on that big crane. That's the
What
spectacle.
do you do with all that fish?
What do you do with all that fish? That one you may mount. I don't know. Trophy of sorts.
Jason would know.
Jason, we'll have to ask Jason. All right, well, who could forget that huge hammerhead shark found ashore in Orange Beach back in April? Days later, we would find out that 14-foot shark was pregnant.
Yes, the cause of death hasn't been determined yet, but researchers at Mississippi State University, they did a necropsy and they found out the pregnant shark had 40 pups, and even sharing those pictures with us.
Yeah, the pictures kind of really took on a life of their own. The staff calling the large shark a rare find and, of course, a unique case study.
It was a story, again, that a lot of you were talking about, and those pictures were shared quite a bit.
Yes, they were. All right, when we return, the good news continues with the Blues.
The Blue Angels, of course, soaring high across the Emerald Coast. Angels return.
Yeah, of course, the Blues just wrapped up their season returning home to NAS Pensacola earlier this month. But Fox 10's Dacian Smith was out there on Pensacola Beach for the summer show and has the show-stopping performance.
The 2023 Blue Angels.
It's a sight Blue Angels fans have been waiting for all week. Thousands of people packed the sand to see the Blues perform for the 2023 Pensacola Beach Air Show. Some people, like Sean Benyo, showed up at 4 a.m. to try and get a spot.
The parking lot was already full. I wanted to set my hammock up underneath the pier there, and it was completely packed already as well.
But even with an early wake-up call and parking troubles, beachgoers say it was worth it to get the perfect spot.
I just love the Blue Angels.
Just had to see them.
I had to see them get close
Good
up
show.
on them.
The same can be said for other beachgoers like Jamie Bell, who says the Blues are can't miss, especially when they fly over Pensacola Beach.
It's awesome just to fly jets with that performance, that speed, close formation. I mean, you know, it sets the standard, so even better than the Thunderbirds, to be honest with you. But I was a Marine Air Station a while back, so always been close to them.
The Blues flew for around 30 minutes before storms shut the show down early. But even with a shorter performance, fans say it was still the perfect way to end Red, White, and Blues Week.
It's just like the end of any celebration. It's the biggest, the best. It kind of like goes off with a bang, you know.
And they're already making plans for next year.
I love coming down here. Being able to feel the roar of the engines, being able to just watch them do incredible feats that you wouldn't never normally ever see. They're incredible.
And, you know, gosh, time goes by fast when you're having fun.
It does. It does. I love the Blue Angels. Who doesn't? I mean,
they're a treat to see, and you had the opportunity of flying with them as well.
I did. Every time I see it, I get that rush, that experience, you know, it kind of comes flying back, if you will.
If you haven't seen the story, it is worth checking out. Chances are it's on our Fox 10 YouTube page, Lee Flying with the Blues.
Yeah, if we played it once, we played it like 6 or 7 times, but definitely a ride of a lifetime.
Well, the Blue Angels 2024 season starts March 9th, and that'll be in El Centro, California. In the news business, we have to cover a lot of crime, death, and destruction, but on the flip side of that, we get a chance to share some really amazing stories celebrating people, and that's the best part.
Yeah, in this half hour, we're going to take a look back at some of our favorite stories from this past year.
One of my favorite stories, one you may or may not be familiar with, Lee. Not a lot of people make it to 100 years old. There's a guy in Daphne who made it to 106 in June.
I enjoyed covering the story. Louis Benvenuto, he's a transplant from California who had a career in television working for NBC. He ran cameras for all the big shows back in the day, including The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson.
He had a lot to say, and it all started right when you put the mic on.
Yeah, I was putting the mic on him, and he says he recalled doing that for a lot of famous people. He was kind of shy being in front of the camera because, you know, obviously he's used to being behind the camera.
The scenes.
But I think once you see this story, you're going to agree he's a natural.
It may be a dying art, but Louis Benvenuto is a Morse code master.
If you don't practice every day, you lose it.
At 106 years old, he still got it. Growing up in Nebraska, he went to radio school in California.
I got my license, W6 OTB.
Back in Nebraska, Lou, as most people call him, would marry and started working at a radio station. But his dream was always to work in Hollywood. Eventually, the couple made the move to California, where he landed a job at KFI Radio before making the move to television, working for NBC.
There's about 4 of us. We says, well, we'll transfer over into TV.
No doubt a big gamble, but it paid off. He'd worked for NBC for 34 years, including on The Bob Hope Show, Nat King Cole, Hollywood Squares, and was the original cameraman for Days of Our Lives, even landing on The Tonight Show when Johnny Carson moved it to the West Coast.
I was the cameraman for Johnny. I worked the #2 camera.
What was that like?
It was a fantastic position because he was known all over the world.
And we can't forget Ed McMahon.
He was very nice, and if he had a joke, he says, hey guys, I got a joke I can tell you, but I can't tell it over the air.
So it was a good joke.
Yeah.
When it comes to celebrities, he had a front row seat, but one guest stands out.
Luciano Pavarotti, and my name used to be Luciano, and I changed it legally when I was 16. He was on the show one night, so I went up to him and I said, Luciano, I'd like to have you meet Luciano, and he was very kind.
Surrounded by his family, his son and daughter recall the TV days.
He had me on a show, a Pinky Lee show at 9 months old. He said I cried, but I would sit in the audience. He'd take me off some seats and I'd sit there in the audience, and it was very fun.
Oh, and he was also the cameraman for 29 Rose Parades, an amazing career. You can imagine retirement wasn't easy, but he found a new passion, cruising around the world. He's been on 110 cruises. His favorite spot?
The North Pole.
Yeah.
Where the penguins would come right up to you and they begged for food.
He lived by himself until he was 103. Moving to Daphne a year ago with his daughter and son-in-law, he's settled into life at Baldwin House Assisted Living, where he's this month's resident spotlight.
B5.
He especially loves bingo.
075.
Which, by the way, is his lucky number.
I don't know, for some reason, it seems like 75 comes out all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and everybody agrees with me.
Set to blow out the candles tomorrow, I just had to ask.
What do you credit your longevity to?
Eating a lot of ice cream.
Ice cream, okay. Sign me up.
I-17.
Wishing him the happiest of birthdays, all 106 years.
Bingo.
You got bingo, Mr. Lou?
Yeah.
All right.
And of course, many more of those 075s.
All right, get this. His granddaughter tells me he used to tell her the key to living a long life was lifting something heavy every day. Heavy.
Well, what's heavy? I could say you do that with the camera.
She was saying heavy.
Okay. Okay, heavy. Well, whether you're 106 or 4, birthdays are so special.
Yeah, they are. One local boy got the surprise of his life when some Mobile police officers showed up to his birthday party to wish him a very happy birthday.
Amir Adams celebrating that 4th birthday in February, and the week before his party, his mother reached out to Mobile Police to see if an officer could wish him a happy birthday. She says she was so surprised And her son was overjoyed when 4 officers showed up with a parade of police vehicles.
Yeah, they were another surprise there for him. They brought presents for Amir. His mother definitely wanted to give MPD a big shout out for making a huge difference on his special day.
We're told Amir wants to be a police officer, a nurse, and a firefighter when he grows up. And I think he can do it, all of it.
All 3.
That's right.
First responder in the making.
4 years old, on a mission.
Yes. Well, Fairhope High School has 4 reasons to stick its chest out.
Yeah, I remember this story. Not 1, not 2, but 3. 4 seniors acing their ACT. 4 students, I hope you catch that, getting a perfect score on the ACT. That is rare to get a perfect score. Something like this has never happened at the school.
Yeah, very rare. Our house Sherrick introduces you to these super seniors.
These 4 Fairhope High School seniors are holding their heads high, and with good reason. After waiting all summer, they just found out their ACTs, taken back in March as juniors, came back with perfect scores. Peyton Null, Noah Sugg, Tucker Gooden, and Jack McKenzie have earned a spot on the ACT 30 Plus Club Wall of Fame. Scoring a 30 or higher is a huge accomplishment, but less than 0.3% of test takers score a perfect 36 like they did. I had an opportunity to sit down with them for some insight. First, I wanted to know what helped them get the perfect score.
See, I spend hours studying so that I seem test prepared, but it doesn't just come easy.
Easier to me. I only study for an hour, so maybe at most.
So I usually just try and absorb as much information in class as possible so that I don't have to study afterwards.
It's really important to make sure you're actually comprehending information rather than just
regurgitating.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Study habits may differ, but it's apparent that comprehension of what's taught is key to each of their successes. You may wonder what the future holds for these young men with such a bright path ahead of them, and so did I. Starting with Tucker Gooden, who's applying to 22 universities, including MIT, Princeton, and Yale.
Software engineering, programming, different directions of comp sci, because it allows you to kind of have a large presence in the development of the world.
Well, I've applied to and been accepted to USA across the bay. There I'm going to probably do biomed, get into medical school there.
Noah Sugg hasn't made up his mind yet where he's going, and as a National Merit Scholarship semifinalist, there's sure to be plenty of opportunities. Peyton Null hopes to follow in his parents' entrepreneurial footsteps, and Jack McKenzie has his sights set on aerospace or mechanical engineering. These students didn't get to where they are without great teachers and mentors. Those who've worked with them say it's inspiring to see their accomplishments.
Well, pet stories always get a lot of traction on air and online.
Everyone enjoys a good pet story, and this next one has a very happy ending that was nearly 2 years in the making.
Yeah, a Daphne family's dog ran away. Of course, they never expected to see Leroy again, and that was until a plot twist of a lifetime.
Very interesting story. Our Lacey Beasley, though, with the very sweetest reunion.
It looks like Leroy. That's Leroy.
Oh my God. Here's the tearful reunion captured right after the kids got home from school. Leroy now back where he belongs, with the Ellards, and it's been quite the journey leading up to this moment.
A lot of nights putting them to bed, telling them it's going to be okay, the kids, and a little bit of depression and all the things, but now he's here.
It's just unexpected. It's still like a dream.
Monday, Daphne Animal Control Officer Jesse Payne responded to a call that 2 stray dogs had weaseled through someone's fence. One of those was Leroy, pictured here, extremely matted. Payne took both dogs to the shelter and found Leroy had been microchipped, which she says was his saving grace.
He played a huge role. I never would have known who he was or where he came from without the microchip, or the fact that he'd been missing for May would be 2 years since he's been missing.
He wants to sniff the microphone.
I get this phone call and she's like, "This is Officer Payne. did you lose a dog? And I was like, well, like almost 2 years ago, yes. And that's when she said the microchip gave her my information, and that's how they were able to track us down and see that, you know, it was really us. And I just couldn't believe it. We were both started crying and started walking back to the house. She said, I'll be there in 10 minutes. And we're like, okay, we'll be there.
Here's when Robert and Karen saw Leroy for the first time. Now, after a quick haircut, he's jumping right back into his old life in perfect health and almost like he never left.
Good boy. Oh, good boy.
Officer Payne says it was an unbelievable reunion.
It was amazing. It really was. I don't get opportunities like that much in my job to have that happy ending every day and just the smile on Mom's face. And he immediately just went into ecstatic mode.
Leroy getting all the belly rubs and even visiting a friend at the shelter. His traveling partner, now named Sherlock. The real-life Lewis and Clark went on quite the adventure together through Daphne. Sherlock was also very matted and not microchipped. He will soon be up for adoption if no owner comes forward.
Oh, hey. Oh, hey, Sherlock.
But he may already have a taker.
We really don't know how long they've traveled together, and we are considering the option. I know Sherlock's a little older than, you know, than Leroy, so we'll see.
And where they actually found those dogs, only 2 miles from the Ellards' home in Daphne. Yeah. Can you believe that?
The family just thanks the community for being so invested in finding Leroy. And of course, they recommend that you get your pets microchipped. I mean, tears all around when Leroy came back. They were just so touched and so welcoming to have him back.
The kids seeing the dog for the first time.
Oh, for sure. So that was a heartwarming story.
Yes, it was. All right, well, as you know, Fox 10 News committed to you. We love getting involved with community events.
And this year has us very busy working for different causes. Of course, we tackle these as a team. We're going to have those for you. Now, as we mentioned, the FOX10 family enjoys doing things in the community for the community.
As a team, for the second year in a row, FOX10 partnering with Rouse's Markets, feeding the Gulf Coast and the New Orleans Saints to tackle hunger.
And people were able to donate non-perishable food items and water at any Rouse's location. But those that went to the one on Schillinger, well, they got a special surprise.
Yeah, Sir Saint, the Saints cheer crew, and Mobile native and former Saint Nick Fairley were there with the FOX10 crew. They were all out there that morning to say thank you. People were able to get an autograph, signed photo, and other Saints merchandise.
Gotta love the merch. And the best part, seeing how people were so willing to go out and help their neighbors. Of course, all of the donations stay locally to help those in need.
All right, and of course, the yearly Heart Walks are something that we are so proud to be involved in.
Yeah, it's something that I personally invest a lot of time in. A lot of people have heard me talk about the importance of living a heart-healthy life, and we're just so proud to have a community that supports that.
Yeah, a lot of people came out this year to support the Heart Walk and what it is that they do, not only raising awareness but money. It's a great way to help do all those things for heart disease and the people who are living with it. And of course, like I said, raise money and save countless lives.
Hundreds of thousands of dollars has been raised for heart disease research and educational purposes. For me, it's just making sure that no one else loses someone to heart disease. Chances are you or someone you know has lost someone to heart disease. There are some lifestyle changes, we talk about that you can do to make sure that we're living our best heart-healthy life. So that's why I've been such a strong advocate.
Yeah, one of the easiest ways is to get moving. Tiffany Fuller and Pat Berrigan are a mother and daughter team that we caught up with this year at the walk. Take a listen.
So my mom, back in 2005, she had a stomach bug, and she got so sick that they admitted her into the hospital overnight just to observe her. And the next day, they found out that she had one of her main arteries was 95% blocked. They called it the Widowmaker, and she ended up having quadruple bypass surgery. But she's here now, and she's stronger than ever.
She's out here supporting you, and how does that make you feel?
Awesome.
awesome. Makes my heart feel good.
So we have wrapped up the Heart Walks for Mobile and Baldwin counties. I can tell you a lot of money was raised, with Baldwin County exceeding their goal. So thank you for your support, and put it on your calendar for next year. Come on out and join us. Lee is always there.
It's always a fun morning. This year,
Yes.
I didn't actually have to go to work, so I was off for the weekend, and it was just a nice way to
And
to
the
spend
weather
morning.
was gorgeous
It was
that
amazing.
day.
And another one of our favorite things to do as a Fox 10 family, United Way of Southwest Alabama's Day of Caring.
We love this time of year. Fox 10, one of the 36 teams taking part this time, our go-to spot, the Child Advocacy Center. It couldn't be more thankful for all of the help.
A Day of Caring back again. The Fox 10 News team ready to work.
This property here has been completely overgrown. All the bushes, the weeds, the sidewalks. We had to really beat everything back, cut everything back to make it look good again.
Us Nightsiders taking early shift at the Child Advocacy Center. Byron there getting his hands dirty.
It's a lot of fun, especially when you get to work with all the folks you normally work with, but everybody's sweating a little bit, which is kind of fun.
Ariel Mallory also working up a sweat.
We've been raking, clearing the path back there, and then we were in the front a little bit too, basically bleaching the building, trying to clean it up, get some of the dirt off.
Inside, Lenise and I once again on paint patrol.
It's all about the details.
Today we're knocking out 2 bathrooms.
I'll be happy when I have this wall finished. Then I can say, I did that bathroom.
Back outside, second shift takes over. Al Sherrick in total control of that pressure washer.
I've done it before. There's a lot to pressure wash here. It's amazing what kind of dirt can accumulate in a year. It's always nice to give back to these folks who give so much.
2 offices also getting an upgrade from pink drab to fab.
You've already got your painting pants on. You came prepared.
I was born ready.
Sarah Wall also came prepared.
Are you a painter?
We're about to find out, right? Like at home, at my own house, I haven't been so successful, but I feel like we have a good crew that we can make this happen, right?
They'll go behind you and get the imperfections.
And I won't even be upset about it. You can follow behind me and fix all of the issues, right?
These ladies giving those bathrooms a second coat.
It is going fine. We are moving right along. You know, anything for the volunteer, anything for the kids.
Are you finding anything that we missed?
No, you guys did a fantastic job with the first coat.
For the CAC, it feels good to be on the receiving end.
It's amazing. My mother always used to say, many hands make light work. And when you look at all these wonderful people who've been here all day, it's, you know, you can't hire people like this. So we truly appreciate what y'all are doing for us.
On this Day of Caring, the pleasure was all ours.
And if you want to get involved for the next Day of Caring, you can do so. Just contact United Way of Southwest Alabama.
They're always looking for volunteers.
Yes.
Well, also this year, the Fox 10 Playground Project, now in its 3rd installment, just north of here in Mount Vernon.
That's right. In September, we had the Fox 10 Dream Day, once again bringing children from the community out to tell us exactly, to a T, what they wanted to see in that playground.
Yeah, our community partners and generous sponsors also on hand to help us out. Turn out the kids have quite a wish list, which ultimately will upgrade Mount Vernon Municipal Park to the playground of their dreams.
Monkey bars.
The monkey bars? Why the monkey bars?
Because it's like doing gymnastics. A merry-go-round.
What else?
A monkey go round?
What about a swing set?
Yeah.
What about a big old slide?
Yeah.
Well, it's going to transform into where it give our kids somewhere to go, safe to play. Furthermore, it will also inspire our kids to start back coming to the park for baseball, football, and so forth. So, thanks to you guys, it's been a blessing.
And take a look at the finished product. I mean, and these guys wasting no time to get out and break it in.
Yeah, the 3rd Fox 10 Playground Project now in the books. The 4th one already in the works.
It was such a joy to be out there and see the kids enjoy the monkey bars, the slide. They had a good time,
yes,
despite the rain.
Despite the rain, we had a good crowd out there. And again, that playground's going to be there for, you know, years.
Oh. Well, coming up, we're going to talk about another way that you can help the community.
Yeah, but it's something that couldn't happen without all of you. So we're going to need your help. Stick around. We'll tell you all about it.
You know, between Thanksgiving and Christmas, Fox 10 has a very special program called 10 Caring Gifts.
Yeah, it's been going on for nearly 3 decades, but the best part of it, the gifts are used year-round to help children and families in need.
That is a long time, and we partner with Volunteers of America every year for this 10 Caring Gifts program. It's not just something that we do at Christmas. While we may have a huge drive during the holidays, it's really something that helps people 12 months a year.
Yeah, it's a huge undertaking, from toys and food to helping veterans and the homeless, even school supplies, warm clothes, and baby items. The gifts are endless.
And with the financial strain a lot of people are suffering this year, this is really going to help a lot of families make it through the holidays.
Yeah, actually, all of the 10 Caring Gifts are things that can be donated to Volunteers of America year-round. We have a full list on our website, fox10tv.com. And for those of you who have donated this year, we want to thank you from the bottom of our hearts. We couldn't do it without you.
Absolutely not. So yes, thank you very much for taking the time, going on there and looking at all the many projects that we have going on for 10 Caring Gifts and making it a priority to donate.
All right. Well, it's been a good year. We've had a lot of good stories. We've enjoyed telling them, and we hope you've enjoyed them just as much as we have.
2023 has been a good year.
Yes, it has. We're looking forward to 2024.
Bring it in.
All right.
Bye, guys.
Christmas Nights in Lights, the festive and spectacular holiday drive-through light show is back. This year, drive the